Ok, in teoria dovremmo essere live. Salve a tutti. Salve a tutti quanti.
Hello.
E benvenuti in un sentito. Dai, dobbiamo fare presto. Presto.
What the fuck?
What the hell? Steven. Dai,
Zit.
YouTube.
Ok, skin sulla Python come drop e sulla Crate Mark II.
Aspetta che qua Starship togli pure la live lì
Shaped rock for the last couple of weeks. You might have heard that we announced Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Ci siamo.
Yes,
Ci siamo.
Yeah,
finally.
absolutely. And Sam caught up with 2 of the development team, and you'll hear from them very, very shortly. Then we're going to swing over to Planet Coaster 2, as our favourites Rich and Adam will be back on the sofa to talk more about Update 6 that we heard about a little bit last month. Planet Zoo fans, it's DLC Day.
Yes.
Today, DLC Day if you're playing on PC.
Very exciting.
So we're going to see some more information about that. And of course, Commanders, it's a very, very exciting day because you're going to hear a bit more about the Panther Clipper Mark II.
Nice.
Because our very own Zach will be joining Curtis and Chris to give you a bit more information on the ship, as well as its release date.
Very exciting.
We have a giveaway for you a bit later on, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, loads coming up.
Sniper recitato.
As we'll be picking
Vabbè, vedi tu.
Awesome. But yes, to start the show off with, it is
Abbiamo una
incredibly
data, raga,
exciting
abbiamo una
for us to
data.
finally be able to start talking about Jurassic World Evolution.
Non ce ne frega niente di Jurassic World.
Appunto, skippate!
World before our announcing gameplay trailer going out. And today I managed to catch up with some of our devs to go through the features that you guys will start to see in those trailers as well. So yeah, we're going to be picking that up now and cutting to that. Check this out.
Non ce ne frega niente di
Schippa, vogliamo
Jurassic
sapere
World.
la Panther Clipper.
Non ce ne frega niente.
No!
Aspettate raga che abbasso un po' perché...
A me non interessa.
No, sì, interessante, però...
È bello.
Vabbè, guardiamocelo, raga. Monorotaio molto
territory. Where previous pioneers exclusively synthesized female dinosaurs, we are also creating males. These animals aren't assets to us, but the beginning of a new evolution.
Ok.
And do keep an eye on the young dinosaurs. They can inherit more than just appearances. Every site must be a perfect balance of security and spectacle. Protecting our guests is crucial, but so is inspiring the next generation. As with any project of this scale, not everything will go according to plan. As the park manager, you'll also
No, puoi
assess
guidare il
emerging
coso, davvero?
situations and get them under control.
Panico.
It won't be easy, but that's why
Figata!
Ma già in realtà
Sì, lo
potevi
so, però
guidare.
non ci ho mai giocato fisicamente, quindi...
I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but please.
What?
Eccoci.
This is your first
Aia.
warning. Death must not continue.
Va bene, 21 ottobre. Ti danno anche la skin del
Vabbè, sì.
del
Vai.
bug.
Andiamo avanti, andiamo dopo.
Chi
è
to start off with, can you just introduce yourselves to some of the
Planet
people who
Coaster,
maybe are not familiar with yourselves?
Sure. So my name is Andy Fletcher. I'm the game director on Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Ah no,
And my
è
name's Sandy Samarco, and I'm a principal designer on Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, it's so nice to have you guys here today.
Great to be here.
Awesome. Cool. So Jurassic World Evolution 3, what an incredible project. And you guys getting to work on the third installment of this title. That's super, super exciting. It's just gone out. It's been announced. People are starting to talk about it. Like, how does it feel now that it's out there in the world?
Yeah, it's super exciting, you know, to be revealing the hard work that everyone's been doing
ce ne
here
frega
in the
niente
studio for so long, and yeah, finally unveiled.
Mi può
everything
interessare
that
di più
we've been
Planet
planning for
Coaster.
this third installment, and you know, the
Planet
feedback's
Coaster ci ho
been
giocato un
really
botto.
positive. We're
So
really
good.
excited
Yes,
to
very.
see what everyone's saying about the game. It's a huge year for Jurassic in general, so yeah, it's a really
Io so
exciting
Yeah,
time.
solo
loads going on there. It's incredible. Yeah, super, super
di
exciting. Awesome stuff. So yeah, we've got loads to talk about today.
Eli
There's loads of new
Dangerous della
features
Frontier.
coming to the game. It's looking
No,
absolutely
io
brilliant.
sono storica con la
Those
Frontier.
features, there's lots, like I say, for us to talk about. And they
Ho
all
giocato un
sort of
quasi
sacco
quasi
di
vi
ore.
faccio fare la stampa del banner
loads
di
of new
Eli
stuff for the
Dangerous, me la
dinosaurs. We've got lots
metto
of new creative stuff.
Come ce
coming
l'hanno
as
loro?
well.
poster,
So before we
esatto.
kind of
Sì,
get
è
into the
carino.
meat of it, I think it'd be nice to give a bit of an overview of what's maybe to come. So I think let's start with the stars of the show,
Però
the
sono più grandi
dinosaurs.
questi cosi.
What can we kind of expect there?
A lot from the dinosaurs. Obviously now the big headline ticket is you can breed them, which means you get juvenile dinosaurs, but that comes with a lot of support work. So male and female, so we've got dimorphism, new behaviours, you know, upgrades to the dinosaur brain. So a lot of cool stuff coming that way.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so much coming. It's really, really cool. Lovely stuff. Then on the creative side, there's a whole host of new tools and ways to just kind of get creative in the game. Like, what can we expect there, Andy?
Yeah, there's a lot of detail to dive into on the creative side of things. You know, it's a real kind of foundational change for the game in many ways. You
Yeah.
know, I think the kinds of parks that people will be able to build and share this
Boring.
time around are going to be, you know,
Very,
beyond
yeah,
anything
very,
we've
very cool.
seen before in the
Yes.
franchise.
Bello
So
che ci
yeah,
sono
there's
4
lots to
follow
talk
Skype.
about there.
Lovely stuff.
Cosa
Awesome.
sempre?
And then we've got a brand new campaign as well. There's lots there as well. So, yeah, what can you tell us a little bit about that? What can we
Yeah,
expect?
bigger and better. We've got an epic new campaign that
Cos'è che dicevi,
goes across
Snapper?
the whole globe, and you know, has a more open, less linear feel than
Sniper?
the
104
previous campaign.
follower
So,
hai.
yeah,
Ah,
again,
sì.
Bello.
there's lots to dive into there. We've got some returning
Bello come
characters that
numero,
people are
molto
going to
divertente.
love, and yeah, this
Sì,
new structure
beh,
I think
cambierà
is really going to
presto.
appeal, going to make it feel, you know, more
Peculiare,
global,
ma
more
non ci interessa,
cohesive, and
sinceramente.
Bigger.
more intricate, you know, with the systems kind of, you know,
Yeah.
working across the different levels.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, there's loads there. Awesome. Cool. All right, so now we've got a sense of what we're going to be chatting about. Let's get talking about everything because it's incredibly exciting. So starting off with the creative tools, we've got some new stuff for our creative players. There's modular building. Can you tell us a bit about that? What are we expecting with that? What can we do with it?
So modular buildings
Vabbè, The Sims.
is basically, as far as Frontier is concerned, we're well known for putting a lot
The
of
Sims
effort
con i
into making sure
dinosauri.
you can create all sorts of amazing structures, and so we're bringing that to Jurassic World Evolution 3. So every building, actually under the hood, we comprised of, you know, hundreds, thousands, just stacks of individual components that you can get in there and you can tweak. So you can basically what you can create is up to you now. You're no longer restrained by
exciting.
set buildings.
Yeah.
You can go wild.
Get in, tinker,
Yeah.
build out what you want. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
You can
amazing.
do your own spin on the buildings in the game. There's lots of different variations in there to start with, and it's, you know, it's the tools that you have with those pieces. You
Yes.
can you know, intersect them, scale them, freely rotate and move them around.
Sta
And
cosa
it's,
molto
you know,
carina.
beyond buildings as well. You know, you can just create combinations of scenery,
Yeah.
items, and save them off as blueprints. And you know, I think one of the big things to emphasize really is that we wanted the game to feel like a Jurassic World Evolution
Yes.
game. It's absolutely essential to us that, you know, this wasn't a barrier to entry. We wanted it to
Figata
feel
questa.
like a JWE game. So
Yeah.
that's been really paramount in our minds. But when you scratch below the surface, you'll find an incredible
Yeah.
array of
Under the
like,
hood,
Yeah.
there's so much more stuff. But
Yeah.
it's no harder to do than previous games. You can just plonk buildings down; they'll look beautiful.
Yeah.
But you can make your own stuff, or you can take existing buildings and just tweak them however you want.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next question. So obviously, if I'm a creative player, brilliant. There's loads for me to play with there. But if I want to just get into the management, I just want to sort of take care of my dinosaurs, do I need to kind of get into the modular buildings, or what kind of things do we have there for those sorts of players?
Oh, you can. The game has loads of lovely buildings to use. So if you're not that way inclined, there are stacks of blueprints. But I think we're going a little bit further. You want to talk about the blueprints is getting a significant upgrade for Jurassic World Evolution 3.
I mean, the big new frontier really is the integration of the Frontier Workshop.
Yeah.
So this is and it's cross-platform. So across all the platforms that the game is available on, players will be able to upload what they've created, both in terms of specific building types, general scenery, and also whole parks that they've built. And other players will be able to download those creations and visit those parks and use those blueprints, use those creations in their own parks. So again, there's lots for players to kind of choose from in the game at launch, across a variety of themes as well. We didn't really talk about the scenery themes. We've got classic Jurassic themes.
Yeah, there's so much there. Those are really cool.
We've got new themes inspired by the campaign. So there's thousands of pieces for people to delve into, and many blueprints. But once you add that Frontier Workshop element, there's going to be more and more every time you come back. There'll be new creations, and that's what's really exciting, is that this game will.
It's going to build
appropriate to the title. It will evolve, every after launch, and we can't wait to see what people create.
Super integration as well, which is I think we're all really excited about. It's you'll be able to get into the game and just see the creations of other players from the game itself.
Yeah, you don't have to exit your park to kind of go to a separate interface. There is a separate
integrated.
You can just go via the normal left-hand bar menu, and you'll be able to see and search for Frontier Workshop items.
And just if you don't have artistic talent like me, you'll be able to nab them and then pass them off as your own.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Awesome. That's super exciting. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Awesome stuff. So beyond just the modular, the building, there's obviously a lot more coming to the creative side of things as well. We've also got a whole host of new terrain tools, which are going to expand, again, just that variety in the park. So can you tell us a bit about those as well?
Yeah, so terrain looks beautiful, but now we've kind of taken off all of the latches so that you can build pretty much however you want. The terrain tools have had a massive upgrade. It's way more vertical. We've got these really cool brushes that do a lot of the heavy lifting artistically for you. You paint them down and they're filled with detail objects that our artists have carefully constructed. So even someone like me, it's very easy, very quickly to create something that's very, very pretty with just one brush swiping here.
Sweeps,
exactly. Yeah, and then and terrain manipulation's the same. You can have really large formations basically that you can create very quickly. Like I say, verticality is much bigger. We've got ramp tools now, so point to point ramps, so that your gameplay is going to work with it as well. So it's not just visual.
Yeah, I think that's key, isn't it? It's having those tools and seeing what they can do for parks, right? So you've got ramp tools. You can now build parks across multiple levels. Have your vehicles, guests, dinosaurs, traverse them up to a point. And even beyond that point, you can now use terrain and large scenery items to enclose dinosaurs.
Yes.
So creating more naturalistic enclosures.
Yes.
So, the tools in their own right are very powerful, but it's what's really exciting is what it means for the kind of parks that we're going to see this time around.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we just touched on the natural enclosures. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Like how can we build out those spaces and how does that sort of work?
Yeah, so you'll still need to look after your dinosaurs. You still need to make sure your guests can see dinosaurs, otherwise they won't want to come to your park, spend their good money. And you need to make sure that your rangers can visit the dinosaurs and scan them, make sure their welfare is looked after and they're comfortable. So there will be elements of you need to ensure access to the dinosaurs through gates and things like that. But beyond that, we've loosened the restrictions on having to have fencing all the way around all the time of the dinosaurs. So
cool.
It's not always going to, you don't have to have that feel to your parks anymore. You can make it look as if the dinosaurs are in a kind of in a valley or in a sort of a kind of a rocky area. And again, it just adds to that sense of those dinosaurs feel more integrated with the natural world, which is kind of one of the themes of the campaign as well. It's about how in this point in the Jurassic timeline can we make it so that dinosaurs are integrated more naturally with the environment, with sites all around the globe.
Yeah, amazing. And I think you can also use water as well. Can we also use water to
water.
create?
Yeah, we can use water. We've got more water. Everyone, we've got deep water now, which I think people may have seen.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah, some Spinosaurus enjoying that. But you can use that to enclose dinosaurs as well. Not all dinosaurs, obviously not all dinosaurs can swim. And not many can swim through deep water, so you can enclose them in water. You can create waterfalls now very easily with the terrain tools.
A couple of clicks and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's we've taken our formidable knowledge that we've accrued over many years of Planet games, and we've just stuffed them into this. And it's come out really cool.
No, it's super exciting, and I love the fact that it really depends. It doesn't matter your skill level. You can go as deep as you want. You can go as detailed as you want, or if you want to, you can kind of keep it very simple. A couple of clicks with the terrain tools, and you can build something really beautiful. You can put in your blueprints. There's something for everyone, which is really cool. Awesome. So yes, loads coming on the creative side of things. But now let's start talking a little bit about, I think, what everyone is most excited about: the juveniles. They look absolutely amazing, absolutely adorable. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it was like bringing them to life?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a
lot of fun.
A new, it's a real new frontier for the game. So, it's quite a privilege actually to be bringing juvenile versions of these dinosaurs that everyone loves to the world for the first time. We've seen juveniles in the Jurassic movies, and we've taken inspiration from those, but there's a huge amount of dinosaur species that we've not seen juveniles for in the Jurassic movies. So it's been a real journey of working with our partners, with noted paleontologists, including Steve Brusate, who's a consultant on the movies as well.
parlando inglese britannico.
And concepting, iterating till we get these juveniles that as you say, they're just absolute wonderful to kind of watch. And it's really incredible to kind of bring those to players for the first time, and it's the juveniles are spectacular, but it's that family unit as well. It's really exciting.
Seeing them all together now.
It's the juvenile, the female, and now the male.
Yeah, it's a big overhaul in terms of what the dinosaurs need to do, that we've had to go into the inner workings of them to make sure that now they can function distinctly. We've got familial species and herd species and more solitary species. So the way that we had to do lots of changes.
Oggi è Frontier Unloced in generale, fanno vedere Jurassic World, fanno vedere Planet Coaster 2, fanno vedere le novità di Elite.
Play chasing with each other, and then based on these differences, the different types of dinosaurs, you can get some, like I say, they're very familial, they'll only stick with mum and dad, and other ones that are more gregarious, possibly even to their own detriment, because they might end up following dinosaurs that aren't quite as happy being followed by them. But there's a giant big structure underneath.
Planet Coaster sinceramente sono curiosa di vedere cosa hanno aggiunto, perché ho giocato un botto all'1 e voglio vedere cosa hanno aggiunto di nuovo al 2. Già ho visto che già è uscito da un po', però voglio vedere cosa di nuovo hanno messo.
A new level of dynamism really to the game, a new level of challenge as to what you need to do to look after them.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, 100%. And just touching on that, it's a whole new level of engagement.
Yeah.
What kind of things can we expect there? What do we need to sort of pay attention to?
Well, for example, juveniles might have different paleo needs to adults. If you've got a brachiosaur, with a great big long neck that normally feeds on high trees and leaves and trees, a juvenile brachiosaur, it's not quite as tall, might not be able to reach, so you need to make sure that you've got some ground leaves for it. And the same for some of the carnivores, some of the small carnivores when the juveniles, they can't really take down live prey, so you need to make sure they've got meat feeders. And again, social needs, some juveniles are happy when there's a bunch of them together, other ones, they need mum and dad around and they're going to get distressed if they're not. So there's a whole bunch of these social dynamics going on that basically differentiate the species. So each time you've got a new species that you want to breed, there's more things to consider, to look after. But it's worth it, because they bring you loads of cash. Juveniles are inherently appealing. At the end of the day, you're running a theme park. You need to make some cold hard cash, and juveniles are one of the best ways to do that.
Loads there. And you mentioned obviously the interactions and the depth that we're kind of going to experience there. There's a lot of work that's gone into the animations and those new interactions. And can you tell us a bit about those interactions? They interact with other juveniles, right? And also the adults, as we were saying.
Yes, they do. And they are
Ti tiriamo fuori da
amazing.
il rabbit hole negativo.
And some of them are quite cool and dynamic, like say juvenile dinosaurs play chasing with each other. There's some real sweet touches depending on the species, and then other ones, if they're interacting with adults of the species.
Vabbè, ma Elite è un gioco diverso
there's
da
just a
Jurassic
wide
World, è
breadth
totalmente
that
differente.
I know it gets across. They all feel different. It gets across the differences between them.
They really
Sono
do.
due gestionali.
Yeah, a whole new dinosaur. I mean, the
Jurassic
adult
World
dinosaurs in
Poster, Elite
Jurassic
è un'altra roba, è un
Evolution
simulativo.
are, incredible in right. The amount of care and attention that goes into the animations, the modeling, everything, that has all been applied to the
Jurassic
juveniles
World
and also
Evolution
males
sì, è
as
il terzo
well.
capitolo
So,
del nuovo, dell'ultimo
really
Jurassic
wonderful.
World.
It's a whole new layer, whole new layers even of dinosaurs that we're adding.
Il primo è uscito anni fa.
They've had just as much care as attention as all the other dinosaurs that we've done in the past. So yeah, it really shines through in the game, I think.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned breeding. Like you,
No.
Yeah, so
there's whole new gameplay loops there.
Exactly, there's new gameplay loops. You'll be able to breed, hopefully breed all good traits into your dinosaurs. Breed
Sì, ma un botto ha avuto successo.
So, you get kids that inherit the colours from their and patterns from their parents. So there's loads to do.
La frontiera i giochi li fa fatti bene.
You have to work with the fertility, graphs of certain dinosaurs. So high prestige, high appeal dinosaurs
they can be a bit
might
finicky.
be a little harder to breed. You can set up breeding programs to make that more likely, or to pick the particular dinosaurs that you want to pass down their traits and their colours to the next generation. So there's a lot of intricacies within the system.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you guys have obviously touched on it a bit now. There's breeding that's coming to the game. That's a big part of it, natural breeding. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? We've touched on a lot of things there, but can we touch a little bit more about, because we're synthesizing males now, what the loops look like? And there's nests and a whole host of new things coming there as well.
Yeah, so you start off, obviously all dinosaurs in Jurassic World are female. But now with research, you'll be able to unlock the male genome, start synthesizing males and females, looking after them, making sure they're happy. And when your dinosaurs are thriving, you'll be able to put down these new structures. We've got nests. Obviously, dinosaurs, they like to lay their eggs in the same places, so you can construct these kind of locations that they're drawn to. But even the nests, different dinosaur species have different
Per chi ha visto il film si
needs for
ricorda,
nests.
mamma mia.
Some dinosaurs don't want their nests visible to guests, for example. You've got to hide them away. And other ones, they like it if there are lots of nests together. Things like that. All dinosaurs are all different. And then once the conditions are right, as it were, the lights turn down, the music's playing, if the nest's in the right place and your dinosaurs are happy, then they can breed now. And you'll get
Possono
eggs,
bridare da soli.
The juveniles have spent the time in the nest, they'll emerge. And so it's a whole new cycle. Some of the dinosaurs, with a bit of care and attention, you can actually turn them into little kind of breeding engines so that you can get enough of a species in there that they can restock themselves over time. So again, another great way to make money without having to synthesize.
I see you're a management player over
It's a park. As Andy has alluded to, it's Jurassic, right? It wouldn't be a Jurassic game.
No, il nuovo deve ancora uscire, forse. Terasi, ti ricordi qualcosa? Mi sembra che deve ancora uscire.
Posso controllare? Ma interessa la pubblicità.
Deve uscire tipo
magico, no?
Science scientists, so it's very easy to do. It's very accessible, and then that increases the chance of particular dinosaurs breeding. So you can.
So you still have a hand in this.
Oh yeah, you can put your finger on the scales. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quello che mi ricordo deve uscire l'ultimo Jurassic World
so you can try and kind of get as far down a specific sort of generation of dinosaurs as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. You can try and build like the perfect dinosaur with the colours that you want and all the good traits that you want. And then that's great stock then for that line.
Awesome. So
Fine luglio.
We've got the males, we've got
2 luglio.
2 luglio, sì.
It's a whole family. And
Vuoi entrare, Cross? Vuoi entrare, alza la mano.
I'm imagining there's a lot more now to manage and to take.
Siamo live per
we've incorporated a whole host of features there as well to make that a bit easier. ATVs, security cameras, that kind of thing. So
so there's
about that.
As you build out your parks, we want to give players new tools to manage, control the chaos.
Vabbè, il 2 luglio ci sta, arriva fra poco.
Doesn't always work out as you plan.
It doesn't always work out perfectly. So we have some new tools in the mix now, as you mentioned.
Settimana più, una settimana in meno fa buttare in campo.
This allows you to kind of set up security cameras at key points around your park,
telecamere,
points where they might be able to spot evidence of a dinosaur breaking out and being a threat to guests. If you link those to your response centres, to your response
capture teams, helicopters,
then you can actually have those capture teams come and automatically tranquilize the dinosaur that's escaped. So this is a really smart thing to do.
Ok, li puoi fare in automatico.
And you've got a lot of
Sarebbe
guests.
figo poter pilotarlo.
They don't mix. You lose lots of money.
And then in addition to that,
Boh, sì, a me sono piaciuti tutti. Speriamo in bene che non rovinino la
They
serie.
drive around these cool little ATVs, which is super fun
Oh,
to
yeah,
drive.
they're super fun.
Particularly in combination with the terrain tools we
Ramp
talked
tool.
about earlier.
Yes,
We waste a lot of time playing
Sì,
with
però io
those.
voglio pilotare anche l'elicottero, non solo guidare il banco.
So these guys now are in charge of repairing and resupplying. So in that example I just gave, if the dinosaur is broken out, and you put down a supply post that has the broken fence in range of an ATV team, they'll come and just repair the fence. So as you can see, you've got more abilities to kind of plan ahead of time and have your response teams kind of respond on their own volition. And it means that you can, particularly in bigger parks, you can be building out and doing something else.
It just takes the pressure off you.
Yeah, you don't have to respond immediately. You don't have to kind of do everything manually if you don't want to.
If you set it up well, obviously.
Dubbio dici,
If you've
ok,
got them in stupid places.
dai Gilbe, dovresti iniziare a
So
impararlo
rewards-
l'inglese.
Rewards planning, rewards a bit of strategy, and some really cool, powerful tools particularly for bigger parks.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be incredibly exciting. Lovely stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of new features there. But moving over to the campaign now. The campaign, there's a lot for us to do there. It's we're going to be sort of traveling the globe, basically, like literally there. Can you tell us a bit about what we can expect with the campaign?
Inglese da
So
1 a
our
10.
narrative is
E vabbè, allora
set
qualcosa
to
puoi
sort of
capire,
Dominion.
Gilbe.
And that's a point in the Jurassic timeline where, dinosaurs are out across the globe.
They're out.
And
È
that's a
difficile
really
da
fascinating
imparare.
place to be from a game perspective, because
È molto più difficile l'italiano, raga, da
go
imparare.
venture across the
Per chi non
globe
lo
and
sa.
see some new locations and dinosaurs in locations we've maybe not seen before. So in our campaign, you'll be working for the Dinosaur Integration Network, which is an organization set up by
Hanno
Cabot Finch.
delle missioni in
Favourite
Italia,
returning
raga.
Cabot Finch.
Nice to see him back.
Yeah, and this is all about
Spanish. Vabbè.
creating sites that.
Ma quella è già
to
più
kind of, to help
tua-
dinosaurs integrate more.
tua main
kind of,
language, quindi ci
ethically,
sta.
I guess, into the modern world. And so you will start out in North America. You're starting some sites there, but as the campaign opens up, you'll unlock new sites across Asia and in Europe as well. And as you open each one up, you'll be able to kind of go freely back to previous parks.
Yes.
Use dinosaurs.
Giapponese è
and,
più facile,
research
ma sei
technologies that you've
serio?
unlocked to go back and improve those parks, unlock new
Non so,
areas
non
in
mi
those
sembra
parks.
molto...
And so so there's just a much
Più facile
broader
il
kind of
giapponese
scope to it, and
dell'inglese,
it's kind of
guarda, e non
interlinked.
penso.
Yeah.
proprio.
And you can just jump around a lot more if you want
Yeah,
to.
you play at your pace, at your
Con
speed.
tutte le
at your
eccezioni
focus,
che ha il giapponese.
basically.
And we tried to make sure that each level doesn't just have is visually distinct in terms of the location, the lighting, but also it has its own particular goals. So you'll be working for clients, and each park has its own measure of success in terms of what counts for a 5-star park rating. So some clients might be more interested in the juveniles, and some might be more about
Impari con gli anime, insomma.
marine reptiles. Some might
Altro
not
che
want
3
insects at
significati,
all,
fa
and
puta,
so there's
per
lots of different
dire
kind of,
te
some might be
stesso
about
puoi usare tipo
tours
10
and
modi
guest
differenti.
satisfaction. So they try to kind of push the variety of each level so that it really feels like
Più
a
le
different
date,
challenge.
i numeri.
Awesome. Yeah, so there's loads of depth there as well. And obviously we're going to be visiting some new locations. We saw one of
Per
those
dire un
in the
numero
gameplay
ci sono un
trailer.
sacco di
So yeah, can you
eccezioni.
tell us a little bit about those as well?
Yeah, so we saw Japan very prominently in the gameplay trailer, which got a lot of people excited and brings in lots of cool new terrain, foliage visuals and scenery options as well. That's another thing that the campaign's allowed us to do, is to kind of inspire the scenery artists to create new building sets as well.
Lots
Yeah,
and
and
lots
they
of
are
scenery.
beautiful. They are absolutely
it's
stunning.
awesome.
They've done a phenomenal job.
And we saw a glimpse of Malta, I believe, which is one of our European locations.
Yes.
You've got a Mediterranean architecture in there. We'll also see some more Alpine-inspired architecture elsewhere. So yeah, I think we're going to reveal more
Carnosauro.
locations as we near launch in October.
Yes, lots to
but
talk
yeah,
about
each
there.
one
Lots
has
to talk about.
got its own
Cattivo di
flavour and
dinosauri
its own
della
feel
Disney.
and its own aesthetics.
Yeah, amazing. So we've been touching on just how good these levels look, and there's a
vabbè,
good reason.
sarei più portato
for
verso le
part of that as
materie
well. In addition to
umanistiche.
all the lovely stuff that you can build and put together, there's a lot that's been changing under the hood as well. Some amazing changes.
no,
there.
I
So can you
probably.
tell us a little bit about that as well?
I'm no expert, but I know that whatever they've done, the water is looking way better. We've got better sky
it looks
boxes
amazing.
and skies in general.
Dovrebbe
They've been
durare
improved with
un'oretta in teoria.
global illumination, ray tracing. which I don't know what it means, but you get
Non so cosa
amazing
sia il ray
results.
tracing, raga, però
It
nel
looks
dubbio
amazing.
l'abbiamo messo
Hot air
dentro, dai.
balloons, you can see the flames kind of coming
Non
through.
sappiamo cosa
The
sia, ma ve
canvas,
l'abbiamo
which
messo
is
nel
just-
gioco.
It's so cool. It's very,
Godetevelo.
very realistic.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Grazie.
Touching on the hot air balloons, actually, I mean, we haven't even kind of explored this. There's a whole host of new attractions coming as well, different ways for you to interact with the dinosaurs. I mean, yeah, can we touch on that a little
Yeah,
bit,
you'll
maybe?
be able to see the dinosaurs from new perspectives. So hot air
Yes.
balloon is one
That's
very
one of them.
prominent one.
Sì,
Again, a
sappiamo
lot
che
more
cos'è un ray
verticality that
tracing.
adds into the level, so it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
exciting.
È lui che l'ha
go
implementato
over
nel
your-
gioco che
over
non
your
lo sa.
enclosures. You also be able to get much closer to dinosaurs with the dinosaur encounter.
Yes, I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, we
so
saw a
petting
very
and
small
interacting
glimpse
there.
of it. You know,
Yeah.
actually petting
Ce ne vuole nel
dinosaurs.
senso.
Puoi
yeah, that's
pettare i
really, really exciting. That's
dinosauri.
been something we wanted to do for a long
Vabbè.
time. And you know, a
Non
lot,
ti
a lot
voglio
of
Che
those
fanno
chiamare
i
di
pezzi.
nome
they obviously
tracing,
add the
dico,
dynamism to the
ovviamente,
levels, but also,
ovviamente.
you know, those creative tools that we've got allow you to kind of,
Penso che
you know,
Rosy sappia
also,
cosa sia il ray tracing.
dress them in your own way as well, and you know, bed them into your park. So yeah, great new
Che il mio PC poi non lo regga è un altro discorso.
I mean, we didn't,
Però-
paths. We didn't even mention paths as well, like the paths that go to these attractions.
Ma
as
io i ray
well.
tracing non
We've got
metto
new path
ovunque.
styles. We've got natural
Sì, ma per
paths
ormai è
now, so
diventata
you can,
tecnologia
again,
standard.
make your kind of park facilities
Però
kind of look more
non sempre la
embedded
fanno
with
bene.
the natural world.
Integrated,
more
No,
organic.
More
quello-
plausible, yeah.
Mia onesta
Yeah, super,
opinione,
super cool. Lovely stuff, but we've got more to say on the attractions
l'illuminazione
in a minute.
artistica
Anything to
era
say?
molto
Yeah?
più bella
We'll get into
del
it
ray
very, very soon.
tracing.
But yes, thank you so much, you guys. It's been lovely having you.
Potevi
Finally
dargli
being able
molto
to
più
talk about
significato,
Jurassic
molta
World
più
Evolution 3
profondità
has been an absolute
del
pleasure.
ray
Thank you so
tracing
much for
normale.
joining us on the couch.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Great stuff. So a couple of you guys have been also asking about physical editions, and we're
Sì,
really
sì.
excited to
Volevo
say
sempre
that
se
we're
non
bringing
sanno
a
come
physical
farlo.
edition to consoles. If you pop
No,
over to
beh,
the
ci
website now,
ci vuole un sacco di lavoro farlo manualmente.
Speaking of pre-orders,
Le
for our
ombreggiature.
digital release that's coming out on the 21st
Sì,
of
però se neanche quello
If
sanno
you
fare un po' è un
pre-order that
problema.
now, you will be able to get a hold of the Badlands set, which will be bringing iconic scenery pieces from the original Jurassic Park
Wow,
film
la roulotte,
to
raga.
your park. So get
La
in there
roulotte.
and pre-order that now. So the sets are really, really cool.
No, infatti è triste come cosa che stanno implementando troppo nel mondo sbagliato lì.
Hello again, everybody. Awesome. So yeah, loads of stuff coming up for Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Quindi adesso si parte con Planet Coaster, vero che si parte con Planet Coaster
Now,
e poi
we'll be turning our attention
ci
to
scaricano la bomba alla
Kitsune
fine
too.
sicuramente.
So yeah.
Sì, sì,
Thank you
pure.
guys. Hello,
Hey.
Richard.
Hello.
Back.
You guys are back. Back again.
We are back.
Awesome. So you guys are here to talk again about update 6,
right.
which is going to be releasing very soon.
Dai,
That's
dai,
right, it's coming
dai
out
raga,
on
dai che ci
Monday,
siamo.
the 30th of June, so
That's
in a few
right.
days' time.
Coming on Monday.
Really exciting.
Very,
So,
very exciting. Awesome.
Dai.
Yeah, so we've got you guys back to chat about some of the features on update 6. They weren't quite ready for us to show them just yet.
Yeah.
Will you be taking us through what we're going to be...
Sì, dai, fateci vedere.
Yeah, and unlocked last month, which seems like yesterday. We showed the sort of intent and some conceptual parts of modular souvenir shops and online photos. But now, with it being so close, we've got a live build. We're going to jump in and actually look at how we put a modular souvenir shop
Raga.
together, and also the online photos as well.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Marvelous
yeah.
stuff. Let's jump in. Cool.
We're
Raga,
back in the part that I used in the last unlocked. I say I used the lovely.
diversi anni.
it's embarrassing.
Beh, Fabuta c'era un altro
The,
personaggio
the
molto
incredible stuff that you
famoso
guys
che
are
metteva
doing that
calzini
makes
diversi.
us look really good when we're
Yeah.
sitting on the couch.
Again,
We're using the
thank you
park
very
again.
much, Rich.
Thank you very much, Rich. This time though, unlike last time where you had lovingly placed the items for sale, they're not there anymore because I'm going to show you how you
certo.
display these.
Comprendo.
Or if you're playing in US
Beh, per una certa persona non vi dava
tills
fastidio.
over here.
Aveva pure i capelli scombinati.
So I select
Vabbè, ma
the
dipende.
and
Diciamo che vederlo su un
restaurants
personaggio
that
non
we
reale.
had, we've got the
Su un personaggio?
the linking.
Vabbè, io dico in generale.
I can either add new displays, which we'll have a look at.
Dipende anche, ci sono personaggi che sono nati appositi per fare questo genere di cose.
So I use the connect
Per
tool,
vederli su un
which gives me
personaggio
my
oppure
multiple
un
the
qualcuno
displays
di
that are here.
famoso è diverso
confirm
rispetto
them.
a vederne
And
da
then, just like magic,
in mezzo
the
alla
items are
strada.
now on display
Fifi grazie.
for the guests to come
Doing
along.
that piece by piece.
Yeah.
Non è canonico per questo lo stream.
And I just come along and go, no, just do it like this, and
There you
boom,
go.
there they are. So now all those items you can see are on display.
Beh, puoi
on
mettere in
for
display
sale.
le cose che vende lo shop,
And
va
that's all
bene.
based
Ok.
on the till
La
catalog.
bomba di Elite ce la
So
droppano alla
in this
fine, hai
tab you
sicuro,
can see
raga.
all the items that are available. This is by category first.
Tengono il meglio alla fine, così la gente sta attaccata tutto il tempo alla live, se no la gente se ne va via subito. No?
Loads of controls. You can be very specific what you want.
Yeah. And it's also telling us here that there are a certain number of items that aren't on display because we can't fit them on our
Ah
shelf.
sì, la gente qui per
All our
editare.
shelves are up now, so they're not for sale. I want them to be for sale. That's the intent on this tab, but they're not for sale because they're not on display. For example, the balloons aren't for sale, character balloons and the normal balloons. So let's remedy that. Let's add some new displays.
Luxury balloon. Ci sono i
So just like
palloncini
restaurants, I can
lussuosi.
click
raga.
the add new, which takes me to a filtered browser with the displays. I can look and check what the display can hold. These are the balloon displays, so clearly they can hold.
Più o meno
balloons.
l'interfaccia è rimasta
And
uguale
then
al primo
as I
di
place
Planet
them down,
Coaster.
it will automatically, which is an actual term,
That's a technical term, I think.
add the balloons on. So you can see I've got some of the
So
fancy
nice.
character foil balloons, and I've also got the sort of standard balloons as well.
Yeah,
Again, because I've asked them to be sold at the till, as I put down displays, they'll just work through them and then start for them being displayed, and then the guests will go over to them if they want to and purchase one. Fantastic. Yeah. But it's not just that way that
Awesome.
you can tell what a display will sell. You can click on the display itself, and then
Poi cambia di
now
colore,
this,
ok.
display section, so I can choose other categories based on what that display can hold, and then so I
Ok.
could say actually I want to sell mugs here. Again, I can actually click through them and say I want to sell this type of mug on there. And to allow you, Rich, to create your wonderful displays that you did last time, you can turn everything off. It's still selling those things, but it's not visually displaying them. So I can then come in, or Rich, because you do all the hard work for me, and actually lay out the objects exactly how
Vabbè,
you
ma
want
se
them.
non li
So I can
mostri è
place
più
the
carino
puzzle exactly how I
mostrarli.
want them to. The guests will come along and purchase the puzzle, take it to the till. Take it to the till first, then purchase it, not no shop.
That's great, because then, for example, if you're building in a particular theme, you can make your gift shop specifically sell like Vikings.
Exactly,
Viking-themed,
yeah. And you can do that
merch.
either by saying, I only want to sell the mythology themed mugs or Viking mugs, which will give you the lovely pre-placed version, or turn it off and then place the ones as well,
Quest'estate
because all the things you see here
penso
will
nulla.
be available as scenery items.
Andremo in montagna dove abbiamo la
And then-
casa
or
e
you
è
can
buona.
use them, as we know our wonderful creators use.
Non abbiamo i soldi per andare in vacanza.
Unbelievable.
Giant mugs and giant
How
puzzle
quickly we're
boxes.
going to find a coaster wearing a hat.
Ci sarebbe piaciuto andare al
Oh,
mare
yeah,
almeno
yeah.
una settimana, ma non
I have
penso
to
che ce
give
la
a
faremo.
very quick shout out to our wonderful plushies.
No, sì, è carina. Io preferisco il mare per ora.
So
Look at
we've got our Pegasus.
Io in montagna non sono mai stata, quindi
Vienimi a trovare, Rosy.
Plushies as well.
Absolutely adorable. Amazing.
ci si organizza.
Please.
Looks so good.
We've also
C'è
going to have
Rosy
some
per la
blueprints as
casa.
well with some of these in, so there's some good
Yeah.
My Deal Souvenir shop.
Per il
blueprints
mare,
that are
dici?
close
Io non ho una casa al mare, giusto per dire. Partiamo dal presupposto che se già eri partito mi dispiace che animale.
Vedi, non possiamo organizzare montagne e mare.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely
It's really lovely to see it play out.
Then, so lurking in the corner,
Sogni
much like last
infranti,
time,
sì.
we have another
What's
counter.
this? Oh,
Is that a
can't do
till?
that this time,
Is
can I?
it
'Cause
a
everyone
counter?
knows
Adesso vuole venire.
This is our on-ride photo
Vabbè,
kiosk.
per la
Non
compagnia
problema.
So
sicuro.
last time I was here, we talked about
E Gilbert la vedo un po' più difficile invece.
what you wanted this to be. Go through
Yeah,
the
now we
process
can
of
actually see it.
going to see adding a on-ride photo
Yes.
camera to your coaster.
Let's have a look.
Going
See.
through that.
Dai,
So
vediamo
here
il
we have
coaster.
our,
Bello, come l'hanno fatto
your
bello.
coaster already made. I'm going to add a
One of the D-themed coasters that's coming in update 6
Yes.
as well.
Yes,
There's
yes,
just
yes,
one of two
yes.
of them coming along.
Done your homework there.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mi piacerebbe tornare a
Costa.
giocarci a Planet Coaster.
So if we click the coaster, there's a new tab that we've created called add-ons. For appropriate coasters, we've moved the ride sync button into here. So if when you load up update 6 and you're looking for this button, it's now in this tab
Yeah.
because it felt better to have it connected. It's just a nicer
It was in two
organisation.
different places
More
depending on
intuitive.
certain things
Yeah.
before,
Yeah,
so we've tried
that
to
makes
unify
sense.
it a
That
little
makes
bit.
sense.
So coasters that can have on-ride photos or ride sync is a new tab. So you click our new ride photo camera.
Okay.
And during this flow, you can see as you're hovering over the coaster track some feedback on
No,
the,
che
on the
figata!
Now, this matters because it affects the quality of the photo.
Che figata!
And as in real life, if you see a
Questi
good
sono
photo,
quei
you're
giochi
going to
che...
go buy that. So this is giving you that feedback.
No, ma io raga, io ci ho perso le ore in Planet Coaster, avevo fatto tutto super dettagliato, fighissimo il mio parco.
To get this feedback, but
Mamma mia, così mi hai tirato fuori. Io avevo colonizzato la galassia intera nella run. Ce l'avevi l'addon, quello avventure galattiche, spaputa.
Madonna, Spor, che ricordi! Bellissimo era!
Io ce l'ho in
Fantastico!
Io ho il disco fisico di Spor.
See it gets to be a bit of an average photo at the top.
And you can see the camera that we've created as well. Now
It's
placed on the
actually
track.
generated one in there. Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love this because
È un gioco molto figo. Parti dalla prima cellula spawnata sul pianeta fino alla parte spaziale dove colonizzi quello che riesci. Ti espandi nella galassia.
Simple or more elaborate.
Or you could just leave it as it is and just have the photos coming off the ride and having a great time if you want to.
Sì, no, la parte della navicella era stupenda, potevi teletrasportarti sul pianeta col personaggino e muoverti col personaggino.
Sì, era fantastico.
Bellissimo.
Nice. Okay, so you can like previs. We can check out what we want.
So you can adjust you can see it per car, so you can go up and see what the shot of each.
Potrei quasi pensare di reinstallarlo il gioco. È un gioco del 2008, mi sembra. Ma assolutamente sì. Era pazzesco come gioco.
You know, previewing what's really happening in the UI. It's a really big kind of like, it's a real achievement for the team behind this one. Really, they should be very, very proud of it.
Che tra l'altro su Steam c'è, non so se si prende e sia compatibile ancora con i nuovi sistemi operativi.
This is magic for sure.
It's a big challenge for the team, but they've done a cracking job having this that picture-in-picture view as
Magari da Steam hanno messo anche qualcosa per ottimizzarlo per Windows 10 e 11. Perché da quello che mi ricordo non funzionava più la versione originale. L'avevo provato a installare ma non funzionava più così bene.
I'm not in audio, so it's not the official
I think that was okay. That sounded.
I mean, that sounded. I thought that was from the game. I thought suddenly we had game audio coming through. Right here, I've got to get this right so that we see the
telecamera fluttuante nel nulla.
That everyone comes to know for Planet Games. Flashes as it goes by, yeah, which looks quite spectacular at night as well. You get a nice little sort of.
So we've got a coaster.
Non so, io lo avevo pure su DVD. Sì, no, io ce l'ho. Ho anche il dischetto delle avventure galattiche. Ho il dischetto del gioco da qualche parte, non so dove, e il dischetto dell'espansione. Purtroppo mi sono persa la Legendary Edition, che era l'edizione da Collectors. Quella mi sarebbe piaciuto averla, ma va bene, buona serata.
There's a mosaic at the top which gives you that nice 2x2.
Choose your options. Where do you look the most terrified? Yeah.
So
I'm loving the crowd.
Dopo se lo ritrovo, raga, il dischetto, vi mando la foto, lo metto su Discord.
And as you see, it's updating dynamically. So that roller coaster is over there in that park. It's still taking photos.
E tra l'altro fatevo vedere un po' di tempo fa, l'ho provato a cercare, tipo su eBay costa un sacco di soldi la Collectors.
So you can have multiple
Volete borraggia per la fine dell'evento e vado a cucinare. Ok. Penso che ci vorrà ancora un pochino prima che arrivi Edit, sinceramente.
So we need to make sure that the counters or the photo kiosks themselves, we have a shop model, is actually connected to the ride. We want the guests to buy it.
Io raga vado fiera della mia collezione di dischi fisici dei giochi. Ho un sacco di dischi per computer e per PC.
Ma fai bene. Io invece mi devo allontanare che devo andare a mangiare, quindi in caso torno più tardi, a sorpresa. A dopo. Però non esco, mi muto soltanto. A dopo.
Io
ho anche le Collectors, non so ragazzi, ci avete mai giocato a Danno? Io ho la Collectors di anno 2070 e anno 2200, cos'era, 2203? 2100, non mi ricordo l'anno, aspetta, cos'era, 2000?
types of players or styles of players, you get the ability to just place this kiosk and then build.
2200.
Have someone in the corner of this shop.
2205.
Feel part of that modular souvenir shop. They don't have to be connected together.
Ho le
They
collector's
are
edition
separate
di
counters, but if you
entrambi.
place them together like this, then you get that real sense of coming off the
exiting
ride
through
and
the
then
gift
going
shop
through
for
a gift
real,
shop,
yeah.
which is so
Era
lovely.
meraviglioso.
But
Il
then they're also
2070 era il
under
più
the
bello di
blueprint,
tutti
there'll
perché
be a
potevi
shop that you can just connect to a ride.
sbloccavi i sottomarini e potevi andare a colonizzare anche i fondali. Era una cosa stupenda.
Picking up and having a good time with their
Anche il 2205 è bello, però bello che hanno messo l'opzione di colonizzare la Luna, colonizzare l'orbita terrestre, i ghiacciai, tutte queste cose qua.
I do say so myself.
Però ha perso un po' di personalità rispetto ad anno
It
2007.
really does. It really does.
L'avevano reso molto più semplice, infatti era molto più facile da rancare.
Rushing
Con
straight
la
to the counter to
città.
make sure that your picture hasn't disappeared by the time you get there.
There was one shot while we were developing it where I got the guy from the car in front, right in front of my photo, and I'm like, that's happened so many times. You get photo bombed by the guy in front
But
of
that's
you,
where
right?
you can
And you're
cycle
like,
through the train to make sure
Exactly,
that you don't have people
exactly
photo
that.
bombing your other shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some really
Poi
lovely
vabbè,
moments there.
X-Plane, ho le collector's di X-Plane, ho i Flight Simulator,
Lovely stuff, you guys.
And that's on top of course, all the other
ho
things
vari
we spoke about
simulatori
in the
tipo
last
Bus
unlock, where we've
Simulator.
got the D-theme coaster.
Yeah, we've got 2 D-themed coasters, we have a new flat ride, we
Yes.
have 2
Per chi lo conosce questo è un punto in più, Bus e Cable Car
Yes,
Simulator.
very, very
raga.
exciting. We've got Pirate
L'unico
and
gioco che
Fairy
giocavo
Tale.
con questo stile
Yes,
era un
as a
Heroes
reminder there.
of Might
So
and
there's a
Magic.
big full update. A
Non
lot
ce
more
l'ha
information will
presente.
be available in the changelog, which should be available tomorrow.
Yes.
So
Very exciting.
Awesome. So yeah, that is coming
Ci
out
droppano
on
Elite?
Monday.
Ci droppano
Just remind
Elite?
everybody. Very, very exciting stuff. But yeah, Rich, can you tell us a little bit about what maybe is going to be coming up for
Yeah, sure.
Planet Coaster 2 in
So this
future?
has been
No.
our 5th monthly update. We've done
Continuano a parlare di Planet
5
Coaster.
months we've been here talking about our updates. We're
Loads
gonna,
of stuff. It's been brilliant.
Loads of
Loads of
stuff.
stuff.
It's been incredible.
Yeah.
It's been incredible.
so what's going to happen is we're going to go away for a little while.
Yeah.
Adam's going to work on his puns.
I've run out of puns, so I need a little moment
finally
just
happened.
to build up a few more
Yeah.
dad puns. So I'm going to get that on the go.
Makes sense.
And we're going to work on some exciting new content.
Brand new content.
Brand new content.
Brand new
And we'll be back
content.
on this couch.
Yeah.
Do not worry.
We'll
These
be back.
me and Adam and these sofas are.
Esatto, fa puta.
We'll be back.
Droppateci la sauce.
Awesome stuff. That's incredibly exciting. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, you
Thank
guys.
you for having us again.
La ciccia
Absolutely
vogliamo,
brilliant.
vogliamo la
Yes.
ciccia.
And again, yep, Monday, that's when the update is going to be coming out. You're going to be getting all these amazing things coming there, including the 2 returning themes, Pirate and Fairy Tale. And just to show it off a little bit more, we're going to be playing the teaser.
Adesso dicono ok, adesso per oggi è tutto e chiudiamo.
So yeah, check it out.
Oh. Se incolla ti faccio entrare. Giusto, giusto nel momento spicy entri, mi sembra giusto. Vieni, vieni, vieni.
Eccomi.
No, raga, ricreare Gardaland con Planet Coaster 2. Io una volta ci volevo provare. C'è anche chi l'aveva fatto una volta.
Ok, ma adesso vogliamo la Panther Clipper Mark III.
Adesso
2.
esce, Snapper adesso esce. Guarda che ce la droppano adesso.
Very, very exciting stuff.
Lovely stuff.
Planet Coaster.
Dai, fate
Obviously,
sedere
I'm
i
quite
developer
excited.
su. Fate
I know,
sedere i
you are a
developer.
super fan. You
I
are
am
the
a super fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pirate and Fairy Tale coming back along with, especially on my photos. It's so
Perché
good to
che ansia?
Monday, the 30th,
Yes.
when that comes out.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Put in.
it's time to kick off our giveaway, and we've got a bunch of stuff
Oh,
that I've
giveaway.
prepared earlier.
Giveaway, raga, giveaway.
Let's do these.
What have we
quite
got, Rich?
Flash ones first. We have
Got very.
a
Ooh.
Razer
Un mouse,
Basilisk
raga, un mouse.
V3 gaming mouse.
Yeah.
Very, very swish.
Nice.
Even swisher than that.
Ah, la
we have
mascotte,
a
sì.
Swisher.
Sì.
A Razer Black Widow.
I mean,
Oh.
that's,
V3
yeah,
gaming
that's
keyboard.
pretty good. Yeah.
Very, very posh. If you see a
Very
square-shirted Rich leaving the studio after the show, no, you didn't. We have an Elite Dangerous beanie hat.
No, vabbè,
Also,
raga, il cappellino di Elite Dangerous.
We have an Elite Dangerous.
No, raga, no.
Mousepad.
No, 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 questo lo voglio, raga.
Ooh,
there we go.
this looks very nice.
Look at that.
Lovely. Yeah. Lovely
Try and get
stuff.
this out of the way.
Si fanno anche tipo le taglie diverse.
A keyword, and roll the
Sì.
top, I do this, into
Sai cosa
the
sarebbe
chat.
figo?
And
Una
this
bella
is on
maglietta.
Twitch only. So if you're
Yes,
not already
very
on
important.
Twitch,
O una felpa.
twitch.tv/Frontier. Get over there now so you can put this in the chat.
Yeah.
And geographical restrictions do apply, and please head to Frontier.
Geographica restriction, però adesso vedi che per l'Italia non
Yes.
spediscono.
But
So-
what-
Cosa slash Frontier? Non ho
To
capito.
win this or to enter this giveaway,
qualcosa giveaway / frontiere
dinosaur, all lowercase.
tanto lo metteranno poi nel sito.
Dinosaur, dinosaur, all in lowercase.
Yes.
And we will leave this open for a little bit, a couple of minutes. So get that in the chat.
Proviamo a vedere.
On Twitch, twitch.tv/frontier, if you want to enter this giveaway.
Ok, vediamo, dobbiamo fare punto esclamativo dinosauro.
Planet Zoo, it was launch day for a DLC for Planet Zoo.
Fallo sniper così te lo trovi anche te.
Asia Animal Pack released earlier today on PC, and it brings 7 brand new animals, including the honey badger, the Japanese raccoon dog, and the black buck.
Per chi vuole, raga, entra nella live della Frontier, fa il punto esclamativo dinosauro e abbiamo la speranza di avere il giveaway.
Where Dominic Myers is back again, determined to breathe life into a new park. Into an old park, sorry, in South Korea.
Very cool, very
so
cool. Loads to do there.
While you guys are entering the giveaway, !dinosaur if you haven't already, let's take a look at the trailer.
Planet Zoo, così a casissimo, ok? Giusto per dire soffrite, raga, soffrite ancora, non vi facciamo vedere niente, via di...
Mamma mia, non fatemi soffrire così tanto.
Ma devono tenere incollata la gente nella live, no? Se no si droppano subito elite e la gente se ne va via. Procione giapponese OP. Bangkok style. Bello. Bello. Brocioni! Coccarini! Ok. Dai, droppateci la ciccia, su.
So there you go.
It's so nice.
That is
Absolutely
the Asia
beautiful.
Animal Pack, and it's out right now on Steam. So go and grab that if you'd like. And it is going to be coming to console alongside the America's Animal Pack.
I procioni giapponesi, sì, sono carinissimi. Sono fluffy e chonky e carini.
You don't have to wait all that long to get your hands on these 2 packs together. And also released today was a free update, which includes something new and free for everyone. It's the Malabar Rose Butterfly.
Oh, wow, non ci interessa.
Sì, bella la farfalla, ma dobbiamo vedere qualcosa di più metallico e spaziale.
Di più metallico e veloce di una farfalla.
Esatto.
No more entries, raga, avete buttato Pensa a vincere e poi ti dicono no, in Italia non sfidiamo.
Good luck to everybody. Good luck.
Okay, I think we've left them hanging long enough.
Yes.
Elite
Grazie.
Elite player! Raga, elite player! Raga!
Which is an official unit of measurement here at Frontier. We revealed the Panther Clipper MKII.
Vai, vai.
Give you all of the juicy details. And for this, I'm going to hand over to Zach, who sat down with Chris and Curtis earlier this week.
Hello everybody, Zach here, brand manager on Elite Dangerous here at Frontier, and I'm joined by 2 special dev guests today to talk about everyone's favourite space game, Elite Dangerous. So would you like to introduce yourself, starting with Curtis?
Hi, I'm Curtis, I'm one of the designers.
Questa non è la live vecchia.
I'm Chris and I'm
Allora, hanno spostato i quadri. Non vorrei che mettano al centro il gioco che stanno presentando, sai?
We said at the end of the last show that we would talk about the Panther Clipper MKII, which is what we're here to talk about. Chris very kindly, I believe 2 months ago now.
2 whole months since PitCon, and we revealed that the Panther was coming.
Yeah, very nicely with the teaser image that you kindly put together at PitCon. And then, yes, we went into
Dai raga, Pronti con la
about the
carta di
concept
credito
and
per,
the sort of
per il Panther
design
Clipper.
ethos, I guess, like what you
Io day
think
one,
of
raga,
the
day one,
initial
assolutamente.
concept of the ship,
Very
right?
much so.
Ma assolutamente
So
pure
those
io.
concept images, obviously we had those complete at the time, and we've spent the last 2 months actually trying to get that into game and fulfill on those concept images. And I think we've done a pretty good job of it, as you'll.
Dai, fatecelo vedere
I
su.
mean,
Fatecelo vedere.
this is one of the, if not the largest ship.
Faccela
we've ever put
vedere,
into Elite
faccela
Dangerous, at least from a
toccare.
player control point of view, right?
La
And
Panther
so
Clipper,
that does
Faccela
actually
comprare.
translate to the
Faccela
work
comprare,
effort that is
esattamente.
needed from your team.
Definitely, it's certainly a challenging ship to implement and to.
Sì, comunque mi sa che mettono al centro il quadretto del gioco che stanno presentando. Così almeno quando li inquadrano si vede bene nel gioco, mi sa.
Sweet. All right,
Come
well,
dettaglio
talking of
molto
images, I
carino.
think without further ado, while we go through our sort of discussion points for you guys, let's show the Panther
Dai!
Clipper MKII
Dai!
for the very
Dai!
first time. So enjoy this chat as we go through. So I think.
Mamma mia!
Oddio!
Mamma mia, che roba stanno...
What sort of ship is the Panther Clipper MKII? For someone that's never, maybe tuning in for the very first time,
Che
for
cazzo di
maybe they've
figata,
just
raga.
picked up the game, what is the Panther Clipper MKII?
Big trader.
It's a big trader, yeah.
Ecco, allora, dalla buca delle lettere ci entra, perché se dentro, in teoria...
Ok, sì.
Okay, well, we'll dive into the exact details
È
of
piatta,
why
è piatta.
that is the case later on, but Chris,
Allora,
I think it's
occuperà
fair
tutta
to
la
say
buca delle lettere,
this thing
però...
is
Quando
gonna
passa
be
lei,
pretty
non
good
passa
for those
nessuno.
players that wanna get from A to B.
I think definitely if
Tipo
you
largo,
have
fatevi
some goods
passare.
that you want to move around
Sarebbe
the
figo
ship
se
at
tipo
speed,
facessero un
yeah,
protocollo quando
this
uno
is
con
the
la
ship
clipper
for
chiede
you.
di
So
entrare e
perfect
bloccano
if
a
you
tutti
are
gli altri
looking to,
l'ingresso.
supply goods to build a new station for colonization, for instance, and loads of other things where you've got to shift tonnage from one point in space to another.
Yeah. So I think, Curtis, knowing, you know, when we release colonization,
Allora-
for all those tries for, you know, we really want to trade all these materials.
Ma
how
comunque
hard
mi
was it
sembra
knowing
X,
behind the
hanno
scenes
fatto
that you
un,
were working on this
landing
the
pad
whole day, just
nuovo,
wanted to tell
Sniper, mi sa.
everybody this is what it was.
No.
Non mi sembra un L questo.
Seeing all of the posts that were like, oh, if
Sì che è
I
un
just
L.
had, you know, a couple of hundred more
Yeah.
tons of
Non mi sembra L, mi
of
sembra più
haulage,
grande un
I'd be
L.
good, and just being like, can't say anything, can't
Yeah.
say
È
anything.
un
Ma
L?
non è il-
È un L?
We are nearly there, yes.
Ci sta proprio al pelo,
So,
ma è un
okay,
L,
on
ok.
trading then, how does the Panther Clipper MKII compare to the other traders in the game right now?
So, roughly speaking, it's got about 50% more capacity than our biggest traders. So, quite the improvement compared to what players are used to.
Oddio mio.
It's got a similar.
Dai,
jump
vediamo il
range from
movimento
fully
dei
laden
motori.
to those traders as well. So even though it's hauling a lot more, it's keeping up with.
Dai, facci vedere il
speed that
rotary.
you'd expect from like a Type 9 or something.
Yeah.
Mamma
it's
mia.
also compared to our dedicated traders.
Ah, i cosi posteriori salgono pure.
Sono, sì, l'avevano già detto che i motori stessi sono le gambe. Una figata.
No, dico quelli
Chris, what do you think
posteriori
from a-
si mettono
I guess
più in alto
from a
rispetto a quelli
visual point of
anteriori.
view, what was the process when you had to set this ship aside, I guess, from some of the other traders in the game?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of large
Che
trading ships
figata.
in the game they have been for a while. And
No, voglio
one of
vedere
the
come
things that
cacchio
they all
passa.
share,
Ci
which
passa il
we
pelo,
have,
come ci passa.
also implemented with the Panther is form follows function. So they are large, they are bulky, they don't waste space. And so that tends to have the consequence that they have a slightly boxy appearance.
Passa solo lei,
so
ci è andato
boxy
addosso.
appearance
Ci è andato addosso.
and that was by intention. So with this one of the bits of thinking that we had was similar to the Mandalay, where we took an explorer ship, but we wanted to go for something that had a few more curves in there and a slightly more appealing look. Same lens really was used on the Panther, so that's why we went for Zorg and Peterson as a manufacturer.
Yeah.
So we could have a few
E
more,
Zorgon Peterson, ok.
elegant lines
Stessa della
and,
Mandalay.
bits of design in
Madò.
there, while still
Datemi la
maintaining
release
that
date.
big
Quindi,
look,
quindi raga, si fa
which is that
esplorativa.
little bit more
Punto.
refined in its,
Almeno io la
detailing.
faccio esplorativa.
And yeah, we think it's unique.
Ma
for that
perché?
reason.
Yeah,
Perché
I think
sì.
everyone watching right now, seeing the footage, will quite clearly be able to see that
Perché
silhouette
sì.
of the original Panther
Yeah.
Clipper, right? But with, like you said, those enhancements that we've seen across all of the new ships that we've added to the game, right? But this one in particular, you can really see that the callback to the original.
I
as well.
think hopefully it will map onto that and remind people. Who
Mamma
remember
mia,
that
la
ship,
cabina.
whilst also providing a unique and exciting new ship for those who
Yeah.
maybe haven't played the older games.
100%. All right then. So What is, Curtis? What would you say the USP of the
Io,
ship is? I think
con
with a lot
questa
of these new
immagine che
ships
hanno fatto
already, we
vedere,
like to
secondo me
try and,
ci stanno
you
anche
know, we
per
have a
iniziare a
USP for each of
intuire
them.
che
What would
dropperanno
you
la
really
parte in cui
say?
si può
You're
camminare
speaking
dentro
to
nella
the
nave.
players right now. What is that USP of the ship?
So
È troppo dettagliata per non
there is the
esserlo.
obvious one. It's got loads more cargo
Absolutely.
capacity. But our best traders always have the most cargo. So I'd say that probably with the Panther, the thing I like most about it anyway is I don't have to sacrifice on some of the sort of like more comfort modules that I'd like to take when trading.
Okay.
If I'm trading at the moment, I might go around in a stripped down Type 9 that has no shields and no booster and nothing, and sort of get as much cargo as I can out of it. Whereas in the Panther, if I want 1,000 tons of cargo and still want a shield and a couple of other modules, I can do it.
Okay, I mean that makes it a pretty exciting prospect just by itself, right? Chris, I mean from a visual point of view, is there anything on the ship itself? I mean, you guys are probably seeing it on the videos right now.
Mamma mia.
You think sets it apart?
Che
as any sort of
eleganza che ha.
USP? Is it those thrusts on the side maybe, or something
There's
else?
a couple of things. Yeah, we always try to give each ship something unique, and in this case, it's definitely the rotating and pivoting engine pods, the 4 pods, that also, in this ship's case, serve as the ship's landing gear as well when it's come to rest. And that was a callback, as we discussed last time, to the way the original ship worked in the original Elite, so we wanted to preserve that. And the team have done a really nice job of engineering that animation so that it feels nice and chunky and heavy on the side of the ship. And so yeah, I think that's probably one of the most unique things. And then in terms of challenges, in terms of making this ship unique from a construction point of view, I think
Guarda lo slot per l'ingresso del
we hadn't
rover,
quite realised
quanto è
until we got it
piccoli.
again that you foolishly on our part would be walking under this thing,
Yes.
on top of this thing.
Yes.
And that's a lot of real estate that
Yeah.
we had to make sure held up from all of those angles. So we actually ended up taking the concepts, and we were finding there were places where we needed to add a little bit more
Wow.
detail on top of that,
Yeah.
and doing that in a targeted way so that it didn't feel too cluttered, and it worked from a distance, and it also worked close up. That was quite a challenge, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so I mean, chat, when you eventually get your hands on the Panther Clipper MKII, make sure you get out and look around underneath, because Chris and the team spent a lot of time making sure that that was...
Lo faremo, raga. Lo faremo.
Yeah, put that in the issue tracker and then we'll have a look. All right then, so let's move on to the stuff that some of our players really like to know about Curtis. I know you have dreams or nightmares about these moments where we talk about hard points and things like that. So let's here we go. Let's start with the hard points, Curtis. How many does the ship
Hard
have?
points, vediamo gli hard
So it does
points.
have 10.
Okay.
Which, if
10.
I'm remembering
Ok,
correctly,
hanno gli
10 hard
hardpoint.
point.
Okay.
And as for the configuration, you've got
No,
force
raga,
maul,
si può fare
four
come
medium and two
corazzata a
large.
sto punto.
Right.
So a fair
un
amount of
cazzo di
firepower.
tank.
You're not matching a Corvette.
Si può fare
or
come
an
Heavy
Anaconda,
Fighter.
but, you know, the
Tipo
Type
Panther,
9
cioè
is
Panther,
sort of kind of blown up
Imperial
a little bit
Cutter,
by that.
spostati.
And is sorry, go on.
No.
Is there anything you envision a player to put on those hard points in particular, or is it quite open to interpretation?
Well, you can put whatever you want on it. I might stay away from fixed weapons because it is a big ship, so it does have
C'è un
quite
altro
some
punto, non ha
items
punti
in it.
ciechi.
So I imagine
Puoi
most
mettere
players
tutte
put total, but
moving,
you
quindi
could
le
fit
fai
with
comandare dai
whatever you
player,
want, and it'll-
4 player.
It'll do some damage.
Yeah. Chris, how was
Ognuno
it
comanda
finding
un
spots
angolo.
for those hard points on this one? Was it easy? Was it hard?
Surprisingly,
There's a lot of space.
A little bit easier on this one,
Yeah.
partly due to those factors. Fact that,
Salve, Tender.
it's encouraged,
Sì, vero, ti
to
fa lasciare a
scope
bocca aperta
some
questa nave, sì, sì.
a little bit, but definitely we wanted to make sure that there were centerline weapons as well, and to do all the tests that we do usually to get those hard points in really early in the process, and then Curtis and his team will test that out and make sure that they feed back to us on what's working and what isn't working.
Yeah.
So a little bit easier just in terms of the fact that there's more space, so you're not having to fit them into thin wings or anything like that.
Yeah.
The bulk of it definitely helped, but it was the usual process.
Ma che ci va addosso? Bonk.
Perfect. All right then. So let's move on to optional internals.
Optional internal, vai, vediamo.
For this one, we've got one size 1, one size 2, size 4, you know, for your booster or whatever.
Yep.
2 size 5s,
Wow.
3 size 6, 2 size 7, and 2 size 8.
Nice. Okay.
something special about those ones, but
we'll talk about those. Yes, you may have picked up on that chat. We'll talk about those just in a second. But first, let's just go over the core internals as well.
Yep. So again, it's a big ship, so it needs a lot of power, and it needs a basically big everything.
Yes.
So size 8 power plant, same for thrusters. Size 7 FSD. Life support and sensors are only a size 5 because it's traded.
Peccato, io avrei voluto un ibrido tra un frameshift drive di uno normale e uno di una carrier.
And I think that makes sense for the size.
Sarebbe stato
And
fighissimo.
that also explains why it weighs so much.
Yes. All right, so the Panther Clipper MKII, as you just sort of hinted at, is actually the first ship we've made in Elite Dangerous to introduce a new module slot recently. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so players that fly ships with the military slots will be somewhat familiar with what we've done here. Yeah. And what the Panther has is it has 2 slots that are specifically designed to only take specific modules, kind of like the military slots. But in this case, instead of it being military gear, it is basically storage modules. So specifically, this will be cargo racks and fuel tanks.
Ok.
Ma sono arrivata giusto in tempo.
Beh, ti sei persa cose che hanno detto, mamma mia.
Vabbè.
Comunque sì, sei arrivata in tempo, guarda che beauty. Ma che beauty.
In these slots, so only the Panther can have them.
Right.
And that is specifically a size 8 and a size 7 on the Panther. And there are 2 new modules, size 7 and 8, of a optimized cargo rack that has an increased capacity, so you can fit even more cargo on the ship.
Okay. Are you willing to give us any numbers in terms of cargo?
So it's a 50% increase.
Yeah.
So you folks at home can do the math. But it's a 50% increase on the size 7 and the size 8 standard cargo.
So it's going to transfer a lot, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so a new unique module is something that, you know, we're excited to keep advancing with these ships and seeing what we can do with them. And this is, you know, us again testing those waters and seeing, you know, as you look at all the sort of plethora of elite dangerous ships we have right now, and you're trying to pick out spaces where there is, you know, opportunity to advance to a certain area, right? And this kind of thing will help us do that, right?
Exactly. It gives us a lot more tools, or a lot of like different arrows in our quiver to make ships unique going forward, so that we can really make sure that we're not just like producing the same ship but with a slightly different skin.
Yeah. So I think on that, I guess, just to wrap all this up into one main question about trade, I think to summarize, Curtis, what makes this ship so good at trade? It is that capacity, right, as well as
it all comes down to how much it can carry and what you can do with the ship while carrying that amount. And it's, you know, it's well armed, it's well equipped, and it can haul as much as you want.
Perfect. All right. So obviously, as you mentioned earlier, this is a trade ship. Quite a lot of the time, if you are trading, you're probably going to come across some not so polite commanders who maybe want to destroy your ship. So how does the Panther Clipper fare in combat at the minute?
So as I'm sure people are guessing and looking at with the additional hard points and everything, it fares fairly well. Again, it's probably not gonna take out many pirates, especially not the ones that are coming properly well equipped. But I would be worried I would not casually go up to a Panther Clipper and start fighting it. I would prepare for that assault.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the point. It's a trader. It's not a combat vessel, but because of how much it's trading, it needs to be able to defend itself, and that's what we've tried to provide here.
Ok, quindi molto improntato sul trading.
So, as always, our commanders, we tell our commanders, this is a trade ship, this is a combat ship, and then you guys will go away and do something completely different with it. So we thought we'd give you just a tiny bit of a head start. Curtis, is there any other use cases for the ship that you can think of off the top of your head?
So I fully expect to see this thing exploring, even though it's not supposed to.
L'avevo detto!
And I expect it to dominate conflict zones, even though it's never done that in testing. But I think the thing I would expect players to find quite useful about it is, while it's going to be a bit awkward to maneuver and fit in for doing stuff like core mining, just by virtue of the fact that it's got a lot of hard points, a lot of power, and a lot of space, I could see this being a really good laser miner for players. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll know within a few weeks of release exactly what else the Panther Clipper is great at.
Few weeks, raga.
All right, so another thing in the Panther Clipper MKII is the new bridge. I think you alluded to it last time you were on the show. Just tell us a bit, I guess, Chris, first from your point of view, what was the visual sort of process, and how did you think about that as you were going about creating it?
Yeah, so it's a big ship and it needed a big bridge, basically. So we felt that it was worth making something bespoke for this one, and we really wanted to evoke the look of the older ship where there's a strip of windows, and so we wanted that long kind of feel and that view out of the front. So we paid a lot of attention to where the seating was going to be placed on the ship. So we've got the main pilot's position in the center at the front, and then we've got the 3 other crew arrayed at the back, and there's some nice views that can be taken of the crew and nice compositions that, if you're so minded, we'll give you some good screenshots there as well. And from a visual point of view, we kind of wanted to just make it fit with the outside, so it's chunky and industrial, but not too chunky and industrial. There's a little bit of finesse to the way it's put together.
Okay.
But yeah, and those 4 seats, I think, will hopefully come in useful when the crew have to defend themselves.
Yeah, Curtis, do you want to expand a bit on that?
Yeah, so as you say, there's 4 seats if you include the pilot. So you've got 1 seat for the pilot, 1 seat for the gunner on those turrets. And this will also be our first, in the line of new ships at least, ship with a fighter bay, which means you can have 2 of your fellow crew members in fighters helping you fend off those nasty pirates after all of your glorious cargo.
Lovely. So there is basically plenty of, things to do for everyone on board.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the last things we like to talk about every time when we talk about these new ships is the cosmetics and some of the ways that you can make the ship your own. So as always, we've got the standard version of the ship, and Chris, we've also got the stellar version this time as well.
Yeah,
Dai che ci droppano la stellar? Dai che ci droppano la stellar?
The ships was once we're done with the main concepting, there's then a process where we then start to add bits for the ship kits and design all the different paint jobs and liveries for that. So in
Stanno
this
facendo
case,
vedere più giochi.
obviously they'll be arranged.
Stiamo
to
vedendo
come
la
all the
live della
time,
Frontier e
but,
questo è
day
Elite
one,
Dangerous.
You'll be able to choose between the standard version and then the stellar version, which comes with a nice black and
Bello!
gold, livery, which we think looks rather smart.
Yep.
And also a set of kit pieces, 6 I think, which you can then configure to change the shape of your hull to make the ship look the way you want it to look.
Ok, raga,
and that's
stellar.
always a fun part
Subito.
of seeing which bits
Minchia!
Subito la stellar, raga, subito.
that people can come up with in different combos.
È bellissima così.
So, yeah, looking forward to seeing people playing with that.
Very nice. And we are also working on a Owners Club decal as well, which is going to be available for commanders, and we'll give you some more information on that at a later date. One thing I did want to touch on I think it's on the Stellar Edition, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be on the base, the sort of, I don't know how to describe it, there is a part on the front of the ship that is very reminiscent of the original Panther Clipper, right?
Gran Blue Fantasy vs
I
Rising.
think the word you're looking for is prong.
Prong, okay.
Spaziamo un pochettino.
So yeah, we as we've discussed, we were trying to harken back to the original design as much as possible, and the original design does have a prong that's asymmetrical. It's on one side of the ship. And we toyed with the idea of including that on the base.
Yeah.
And I do like what it does to the ship, and it does add that little extra.
No, la stella era da prendere
to
subito.
have that
Grazie
as an
per le
option
tue rose,
so you
Caffamini.
can choose whether or not you want to have that or any of the other kit pieces on your ship.
Perfect, makes sense. So obviously the Panther Clipper MKII is a legendary ship. It's something that you guys have wanted for a long time, and I'm happy to say that it's going to be coming into Elite Dangerous in early access on the 22nd of July. And you actually won't have to wait too much longer for the Vanguard's update.
Il 22, raga, 22.
So
27.
No, ha detto 22nd, ho capito
Last
io.
Month's Unlocked. But until then, I'll hand back to
22nd July.
22 luglio, io ho capito.
There you go. Very exciting, hey?
It's a big boy, isn't it?
Aspettiamo che lo ridicono, vediamo se lo ridicono.
Lovely stuff, though. Awesome. Cool, so we've also got the winner of our giveaway. Congratulations.
Winner, vediamo chi è stato il winner.
Zim. Well done, well done, well done. Make sure to reach out and we can get you all of those cool things over to you. But yes, congratulations again. And yes,
No, non ha
that
detto i
brings us
nostri
to the
nomi.
end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Just a reminder that if you have missed anything or you haven't seen the show, please
Credo
check
che
us
lo
out on
contattino
YouTube,
comunque chi ha vinto.
so you will be able to watch this later on. So yeah, thank you so much, you
That
guys.
is it from us, but we will be back on Wednesday, the 30th of July at 6 o'clock UK time. So we will see you then.
Lovely stuff. See you guys then. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Vabbè, ci guarderemo anche quella. Ok. Ok, sappiamo che dobbiamo spendere i soldi per la Stellar. Who won? Invader Zim ha vinto. Va bene.
Triste.
Ok. È stato bello.
Mamma mia, però la Clipper, ma...
No, io la prendo Stellar assolutamente. Stellar è meravigliosa. Stellar è meravigliosa.
Ma pure io me la prendo...
A parte che io tendenzialmente la prendo tipo la... Anche la Mandele me l'ero presa ai tempi Stellar perché era molto più bella. Le versioni Stellar sono molto più fighe. Poi hanno anche già quel mini upgrade già di default. Che ci fai molto perché poi te le cambi le cose, però... Di base. Comunque il kit estetico della Stellar, wow. Wow. Va bene. 20 e 20 ci hanno messo giusto 1 ora e 20. Ok. Quindi è stato bello, raga. Ci siamo emozionati. E sai cosa mi dispiace? Che non hanno fatto vedere cose in più di tipo per le nuove future squadroni. Le features nuove che faranno vedere degli squadroni. Ci sono rimasta un po' male. Pensavo aggiungessero qualcosa in più di quello. Vabbè, la prossima volta faranno vedere qualcosa, dai.
Ma sì. Vabbè, io vi lascio.
Sì, adesso credo che stacco anch'io.
22 luglio, porca miseria.
Avevo sentito bene allora 22 luglio, sì. Controlliamo giusto per... Andiamo a vedere sul sito. Così facciamo vedere anche ai nostri amici.
Sul sito?
Sul sito no, l'hai visto te?
No, io mi stavo riferendo a quando l'avevi detto tu.
Ah, ok, ok. Games. Our portfolio. Elite Dangerous.
Arrivo.
Vediamo se si vede tipo...
Mi chiamano sempre al momento sbagliato.
Panther Clipper MKII. No, questa è la wiki. Mi sa che non hanno caricato ancora nulla. Frontier Forum. Vabbè, tanto adesso chi si occupa di liccare ce lo mostreranno presto. No, c'è solo la wiki. Se cerchiamo solo Elite Dangerous. Quindi condividi, oggetti cosmetici. No, non hanno ancora caricato niente. Vabbè, nei prossimi giorni qualcosa caricheranno. Segniamoci la data del 22 intanto e vedremo cosa verrà fuori.
L'unica cosa che possiamo fare.
Per forza. Va bene. Allora. Direi che possiamo andare in ending.
Sì, un momento.
Noi salutiamo sia gli amici di TikTok che gli amici di Twitch. E ci vediamo. E noi ci vediamo domani sera. Giusto, vero? Vero che domani sera? Sì, domani sera alle 21 con Star Citizen. Buona serata raga, buona cena per chi deve cenare e buona serata per chi ha già mangiato per caso.
Addio.
Buona serata raga, a domani.
Addio, addio, addio.
Ciao 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 ciao.